Hi, this is Dr. Bijal Seth. I run a company called Aspire Human Solutions. I do OD interventions for my clients, and I am a psychologist. I am a postgraduate in HR. I'm a law graduate as well, and a PhD in organizational development. I'm extremely passionate about people, and that is what makes me uh, do my job very passionately and happily. So today what we are going to talk about is emotional intelligence. The word intelligence, when we think of the word intelligence, the first thing that comes in our mind is logic, maths, science, things like that. However, that is IQ. According to Daniel Goleman, in his monumental book called Emotional Intelligence, why it can matter more than IQ, says that emotional intelligence is often overlooked. So I'll tell you a little background about IQ first, and then we will go to EQ. What is IQ? IQ is intelligent quotient, and EQ is emotional quotient. Why is EQ more important than IQ? Is because when we talk about IQ, we are born with it. There is nothing that we can do about changing our IQ. IQ means nothing but word maybe once or twice and you remember it easily. Somebody having an average IQ may have to read it 2, 3 times. Somebody having a low IQ may have to read it many times to understand. So they don't pick up things very fast. But nothing stops them to be as successful as a high IQ person. It's just the time and effort is the difference. Now, EQ is something about tolerance to the world outside. How do you tolerate world around you, things that happen around you? How do you tolerate things like that, and what do you do, your response mechanism with everything that happens to you? Why are we talking both in combination is when EQ is very high, you are just so fast paced about everything that you get frustrated with everyone around you because they can't match your pace. High IQ and low EQ is extremely dangerous. Why? Because you want to take charge and change things around. You cannot control the world outside. That's not in your hands. You rather just accept what they are, but high EQ people and high IQ and low EQ can't accept. I'll give you an example. There is a very big terrorist who's on Interpol most wanted list right now. I will not tell you the name, but I will tell you his story. When he was 7 years old, his father lost his job. And when he lost his job, there were 11 people in the house and they had to survive on some flour and water for one meal. And the second meal, they had maybe brun muska and tea. For 1 year, the entire family of 11 people in the house had to survive on these meals to fill their stomach. Obviously, not a happy situation. So, this boy who was 7 years old, extremely high in IQ, that is intelligent quotient, and extremely low in EQ, no tolerance, did his first theft at the age of 7. What he did, he threw a stone on a bakery, stole a piece of pastry, and ran away. This is a typical behavior of high IQ and low EQ. So don't worry about IQ, EQ words. It's emotional intelligence and intelligence. Just intelligent people want to take charge and they want to take things, do things on their own only when they have low tolerance. And this is how. So they could be either destructive to the world, which he is, or they would kill themselves. I had a patient, I'm a psychologist, I see a lot of patients. So I had a patient who was a very high IQ, merit list holder, a postgraduate from New Hampshire University, all of that, and did extremely well for himself. At the age of 32, he got a Youngest Achievers Award, all of that. However, he was very high IQ and low EQ. Emotionally, he was not stable. Not stable meaning he couldn't tolerate things around him which were not matching his expectations. So what happened, because he couldn't find people matching his. So when he got his first salary at the age of 32, he was drawing around. I'm talking about some 10 years back. He was drawing around 1.5 lakhs rupees. He was crying for 2 lakhs. When he got 2 lakhs, he was crying for 3 lakhs. When he got a Honda City, he was crying for Honda Accord. things like this. So they are basically never satisfied. Eventually, he got into depression and alcoholism, and his whole career got vanished, finished. This is what happens. IQ, we cannot change. We are born with it. EQ, we can change. There are many, many ways in which we can change our EQ. Simply being aware. So I will tell you how does it work. There are four pillars on emotional intelligence. First is self-awareness. What is self-awareness? You need to know things around you, about you, etc. Second is self-regulation. Now that you are aware of yourself, that this is what makes you upset, this is what makes you unhappy, things like that, you will want to regulate that in your life by being conscious and aware and take necessary precautions so that you don't get affected by these kind of things. Third is empathy. You know about yourself, you know how to regulate your emotions in certain situations. Now you start thinking of other person's perspective. Fourth is social skills, how you conduct yourself socially, how communicate, how good in communication are you, how many people want to talk to you, connect with you, come back to you, build a rapport with you, all of that. So let's go one by one. First is self-awareness. So in an emotional intelligence test, if there are various psychometrics which you can take to identify what is your EQ, okay, emotional quotient, and it's spread across 21 parameters. Now these 21 parameters are categorized into fixed pillars. I'll talk to you about first pillar, which is self-awareness. Now self-awareness has three parameters. First one is being aware of your own emotions. Your own emotions. There are times when you go for certain functions or parties or wherever you go in work life or personal life, you come back and your family asks, how was your day? Come on, don't you know it would have been bad? This guy was there, I can't stand him. This happens to a lot of us. Why does this happen? Because we, in spite of knowing that this guy annoys me like anything, you still want to go for that party. This is being aware of this. You have to be conscious and get awareness. You be aware of it, you regulate it. How will you regulate it? You simply avoid this person. Either avoid the party or avoid the person, or straight away tell him, this habit of yours annoys me. Poor guy doesn't even know that his habit is annoying you so much. So always just be aware of your emotions and don't get affected by things like this. He's not going to change. Accept the things that they're going to do, and that's how they're going to be. Okay, so this is one example. Now when you are self-aware about your, so first one, as I said, awareness of your own emotions. Second is awareness of others emotions around you. Imagine you are walking into a serious meeting. Will you ever crack a joke? Or if you've gone for a funeral, will you say, hey, hi, what's up? It's been so long. Will you ever do something like that? Obviously not, right? You are aware of others around. You are aware of sentiments, others' emotions. Some days are good, some days are not bad. Some tragedies happened in someone's life, and that is not a right time to talk. This self-awareness of others. And so there are times people who are low on this score, being aware of others' emotions, typically land up insulting somebody and then regret, oh my god, why did I say that? He must have felt bad, I shouldn't have done this, things like that. They just speak out of impulse and then they think later. So they speak first and think later. So we can, by being aware, you can work out it. Third one is okay, so first one is self-awareness, knowing about your own emotions. Second is knowing about others' emotion, and third is expressive powers. I'm so sorry. Okay, how well do you express your thoughts? So first one is being aware. You are aware that this person does not give you great vibes. Have you gone and told him ever that this habit of yours frustrates me? This habit of yours does not get me excited of meeting with you or talking with you, any of those things. How good are you at expressing? If you are not good at expressing, what's going to happen? You're going to keep it here. It's going to add. And who's going to suffer? You. That guy doesn't even know. Poor thing. He doesn't know that you hate him so much. He or she, whoever it is, or any situation. I'm just giving you a random example so that you can understand. So this is how you regulate. Now, working on one thing will help you take care of many other things. You take care of your expressive ability, you will automatically bring in your self-awareness higher. You'll be conscious. Do you dislike the person, or is it a habit of him which makes you angry, annoyed, things like that? So that habit you want to simply let him know. So you just work on your expression, and you will be sorted even on the first one. Same thing about being aware of others emotions. You'll be sensitive towards, we especially in India, we work with different communities, different background, different people, and we have our own biases about certain cities, certain states. We don't want to get them all together, right? You don't want to land up insulting, oh, you're from this city, you guys are always like that, you're from this race, this is all about this political preferences, all these different things kind of bias our mind. And that comes out openly when you're not sensitive about others' emotion, and then you regret and go home and feel, oh my god, I said something like this about this person, he must have felt so bad, and you didn't really mean it, you didn't mean to harm him, or you didn't mean to upset him, but you ended up doing that. So just to avoid these, because your social skills is the last one, how nicely you come across in social situations is the last thing about the fourth pillar, right? So now you are self-aware. So I'm just giving, as I said, I'm going to talk about one parameter because it's extremely vast. We don't have that much time. So we are going to talk about one parameter, three, the one pillar and three parameters, which takes, you take care of one, it takes care of every lot of other things. Okay, your social skills, your interpersonal associations, all of that will build up. So we already discussed what is self-awareness. And how will you know all this? You get yourself tested. I conduct these tests as well, and there are many more places where these tests can be conducted. So you go ahead and get yourself tested on what is your emotion. Sometimes we all look at mirror right before we get out of our house. Why do we look? Don't we know what we are wearing? Don't you know what is this shirt, or what is this blazer? Whatever you're wearing, but we still need to look at the mirror just to make sure that are we looking okay, is everything fine, is anything torn or stained or any of those things. So mirror is nothing but a feedback. This is nothing but a feedback about your inner self, how well you can accommodate things around you, how upset would you get with little things which means nothing to anybody else, and things like that. Being self aware. So you have now found out that you have maybe you are expressing abilities very low. I'll give you an example. In my office, my boss, when I was working with Jet Airways, my boss simply couldn't tolerate another colleague of mine. And he would, while in knowledge and everything, he was better. I was not as good at him. He was much superior to me. He still gave me all the jobs. This guy got so frustrated that what is it? And he took it to a different angle because I'm a female and he's a male and he prefers me and not him. It was none of that. He simply had an odor, very bad body odor. Just let him know. I mean, it's all right. In this, in country like India, you sweat, there's everything around. You just have to take care of yourself with very little minimalistic things that you can take, deodorants or talcum powders or whatever. All that he had to do, just because he couldn't bear his odor, he kept him away from work. He lost out on work. I ended up doing things with mistakes and stuff like that. I it was just all chaos. Was not good. So this is what happens. And who's suffering at the end? He had to cope with somebody like me, who was not as good in knowledge as him. And this guy got frustrated because he was not getting job. And so you can imagine the chaos. All you need to do is say it nicely. That listen, dude, you need to just take care of the auto. I mean, it's natural. Everybody, all of us sweat. That's okay. But it's natural. But you just take care of it. So this is something about it. So you take care of that, automatically your other things are taken care of. So now that you are self-aware, you have a map, right? Your EQ map. The way I test it is EQ map. I don't do too much text. So EQ map, this is the in danger zone, this is in superlative zone, this is my strongest point in which I should capitalize on, and this is my weakest point which I should work on and bring it little higher so that other things are taken care of. Self-awareness. Now we go to self-regulation. Let me tell you a story of a little boy who was born with a speech disorder. Even to tell the cook what to cook for dinner, he had to practice for 36 hours. Imagine what we are talking so casually, and we take our speech and our language and our voice for granted. This poor boy couldn't even speak that much. His friends bullied him, his classmates bullied him, made fun of him. He anyhow managed his school. By the time he was 21 years old, he got a scoliosis cervical curved spinal problem. Cord which we have straight for him, it was curved like this. So when it's curved like that, by the doctors, that entire life you will only have to do a sitting job. You cannot walk, you cannot stand, none of those. You have to do a sitting job. That's not it, guys. At 24, he got injured in his left knee. When he became 24, he got injured in his left knee. It was damaged so badly, it was beyond repairs. Doctors said there is just 1 year you can manage to, even with crutches or whatever, you can manage walking around with your left, using your left knee. Later than that, you will not be able to do that. Use any part of your knee. Not That's not it, guys. One more thing. At the 3 years later, he developed a brain clot. He developed a clot in his brain. He had to go under a huge and big, risky, and a dangerous surgery. The doctors assured the family that the chances of fatality are much higher than the chances of recovery. He still went through the surgery. Guess what he did after that? He chose to become an actor, and that's none other than Hrithik Roshan. Can you imagine? Only because of his self awareness and self regulation, he was able to actually take care of everything that was not right and everything that is right. He still has a fantastic personality. We all know what he is. I don't need to introduce him. He ended up becoming an actor. Imagine, after all this, only because of his self awareness and self regulation. So basically, emotional knowledge of emotional intelligence simply teaches you how you can work on your strengths, and don't worry about your weakness. Every individual is blessed with one unique strength, which is not common. Use that strength for yourself. Now we come to the third pillar, which is empathy. Now that I know about myself, I am expressing well. How do I regulate my weaknesses and strengths, combine it with my, how do I make my career out of it, etc., etc. Now we talk about empathy. How comfortable are you with other people's perspective? How comfortable are you with other people's perspective? You are talking of yourself, but you're not understanding others. Now imagine I will draw a 6 and I will keep it like that in front of you. From you can see it as 9 and I can see it as 6. Am I wrong? Are you wrong? Absolutely not. So if I have to accept that if I see it as 6 and you see it as 9, that's your perspective. Neither of us are wrong or right in this situation. To acceptance to other people's opinion and perspectives is called empathy, is a part of empathy in emotional intelligence. Also understanding other human being. I'll give you a classic example. We all know Tesla, right? Tesla, the first um, car company who started electric cars. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, found out one day that his workshops had 30% higher rate of injuries than other company, in the industry, compared to other companies who were making cars as well. His heart went out to them. He simply sent out an order to get notified when any person is injured. Whenever he found out about any workman being injured on his shop floor, he personally went to their house. He took care of them. He himself, okay, the CEO, he himself took care, understood what caused the injury. From that, what can be done to change the situation? How do you make sure that this injury doesn't happen again? How can he help in those times when he's sitting at home, not a kind of disabled situation? And what can he do? How many CEOs in life do you think has the time to get into this level of empathy, to feel for somebody who has actually caused, who's injured? in his workshop. Okay, each and every person. We come to the fourth pillar, which is social skills. We all are proud of Indra Nooyi. We all know who she is. She's a CEO of PepsiCo. While she's a CEO, it obviously comes with so much of pressure and troubles and troubleshooting and work pressure, all of that. She has never given up her love for art, her singing, her dancing, all of that is a part of her life. Not only when she's free and when she'll retire. Most of us say, when I retire, I will do this. When I retire, I'll do this. But she's made it a part of her daily life. She was associated with, of course, entire company in that she identified these 30 young professionals who were working with her and personally nurtured them. When she nurtured them, they turned out to be like amazing, amazing professionals. When she found out that they had so much potential, and with her nurturing, they were able to achieve so much of success, she wrote a personal note to all 30 professionals' parents to let them know that they have done the biggest contribution to Pepsi by bringing these kids into the world. Tell me, how many CEOs do you know who does this? Imagine what the parents' connection would be. Imagine a parent reading a letter, personally written letter from the CEO, who says that you have done the biggest contribution to my company by producing a child like that, by giving birth to a child like that. So she would go to that kind of minute detail. So we all know how is Elon Musk doing, how's Ritik Roshan doing, how's Indra Nooyi doing in today's world. This is nothing but emotional intelligence combined or not combined with IQ. Doesn't matter. Nobody talks. I'll give you another. When typically you're taking an interview, what do you look in the CV? Okay, 10th standard, these many percentage. 12th standard, this percentage. TY, this much percentage. Whatever studies they've done. What is that? It's simply an academic score which gives your IQ. It does not matter. Somebody like me, who's on an average IQ, have been able to achieve so many postgraduate degrees. I have worked hard. I don't get things in one way, so I read it 2 times or 3 times till I don't get it in my head. I continuously keep reading it. This is how you can work on your EQ and simply come out with flying colors. Now, knowing your awareness, being aware of your emotional intelligence, self-regulating, so you regulate your thoughts around it, then you become empathetic towards others and their perspective, then you have the best social skills. How does all this happen? Magic, is it? No. Once you have the EQ map or your EQ score in front of you, you will identify which is the strongest parameter which is bothering you right now. So the coach who will take you through your scores. So when I take uh, my clients through their EQ map and their scores, I tell them that this means there's something called constructive displeasure, which is most common in all of us, including me. I have worked on it, of course. What it means is when somebody doesn't agree with you in any opinion, so you say you want to go to this way and somebody says you want to go to this way, you simply dislike the person. Every time somebody does this, they don't agree, you dislike the person. Now, what is it that you need to take care of? Empathy. You need to take care of empathy, understand his perspective, respect his perspective. He has a perspective just like I have one. So you simply respect him, respect that individual, and simply remove the perspective from the person. You do not have any dislike for the person. What will happen? Your interpersonal association will go high. Your destructive. So once you know about these things, and what happens? So when you have the map in front of you, you identify which parameter you need to work on the most. Pick up only one. Don't be too hard on yourself. Pick up only one parameter for that moment. Okay. Pick up one parameter and work on it. How will you work on it? Reflect every night before going to bed. I'm so sorry, there's one into my before going to bed every night, give yourself just 5 minutes. Okay, in 5 minutes, you will simply write, simply reflect through the day. You already know which parameter is your priority right now. Okay, today this happened. this gentleman came into my meeting, or this gentleman came to my house, or woman, or whoever, and it just triggered me again. All those thoughts. Write it down. Just write it down. Okay, that's called art of journaling. The biggest of leaders are successful today because they have never left the habit of journaling. Journaling is nothing. So our dadas and pardadas, our grandparents, taught us this. At least for me, I know, always write a diary. What happened today? How did it work? Etc. Etc. So whenever you write down something like a mirror, I said, you see something in front of your eyes and you correct yourself, whatever your makeup, your hair, anything that you see in the mirror. Same way, journaling tells you, I did this. It's only yours, right? Nobody else is checking. So there is no social desirability here. You're not here to prove good or bad to anybody. You're simply writing what happened during the day. Okay, so this happened today and I reacted like that. Then it will remind you, oh my God, my score is that, and this, I do have this tendency. And who suffered? Me, because I got upset. Okay. So second day you be conscious of this again. Okay, second day again you reflect and remember anything like that happened. You will be conscious. Second day, third day, even more, fourth day, even more, fifth day, even more. Pass, let 6 or 7 days pass. Read your first day's diary. Read your seventh day's diary. Trust me, it's magically different. You would have changed it. So by reflecting and journaling, when you see it working so well, and you will realize, people will come and tell you, you don't even have to need to go and ask people their feedback. They will come and, yeah, they will come and just start talking to you. All those people who didn't really show so much excitement being associated with you may start just talking to you a little more. Perceptions, no? Perceptions change. As your behavior will change, your perceptions will change. So these guys will start coming into your life, and you will again start, oh my God, I have just worked on one factor and see 2 3 other parameters have already got changed. And in turn, my relationship quotient has increased, my this is increased, my networking is increased, my work is helping me so much. Work or personal, I keep talking a lot about work because I work too much with corporates. However, emotional intelligence is applied to each and every human being in this world, including a servant working in your house. You simply have to be tolerant towards what things happen to you, and you can work on this. So this is in nutshell how emotional intelligence will help you uh, succeed in life. Mahatma Gandhi is considered to be highest in emotional intelligence in our times. Swami Vivekanand, classic example of very high IQ and EQ, both intelligent quotient and emotional quotient. He was like very high on both, and we all know how he has contributed to our lives. So become emotionally intelligent and have a fantastic life ahead. Thank you very much. Signing off, Bijal Seth.